Om Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaget Sarvavigno Pashantage Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Yekadantam Upasmahe Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namaste to all fellow devotees of Swamiji who has joined the meeting. Okay, so let us begin the session. Navya, would you like to start with the introduction of today's program?
Yes, Uncle. So, very good evening to all the devotees present here. So, as we all know that Monday, the 15th of June, is the 50th Mahasamadhi anniversary of Shri Swamiji's Holy Mother, Srimati Allaka Parvatama. We would like to dedicate today's Satsang session to her by talking about her sacrifice and service to our beloved Guru. Over to you, Uncle.
Okay, Amma. So as Navya has explained and as I have written in the message on the Satsang group, let us discuss and understand the sacrifice and the service of Swamiji's mother, Srimati Allaka Parvatamma, today in this session. Okay. Now, to begin the story, of Swamiji himself, but the focus will be on his mother today. Okay. I mean, it's the same story which most of you know, but I am trying to put it from the perspective of his mother, his holy mother. Okay. So, Allaka Bhimanna was a poor weaver who lived in the village of Adivarapupeta. So, Adivarapupeta is a village near Draksharamam in a district which was called East Godavari district in those days. Recently, it has been renamed as Konasima district. Okay. So in that district, this village is about 30 kilometers from Kakinada and about 45 kilometers from Rajahmundry. So this is where Satyaraju was born. So right now we are talking about Allaka Bhimanna, who was Satyaraju's father. So he was a poor weaver. So he earned his living by weaving cloth. Basically, saris are what we call as dhotis, that the men wear. Okay, all the villagers in that village were all weavers. Allaka Bhimanna was one of them. Okay, first he was married to a lady by the name of Shravanamma, but unfortunately, Shravanamma did not have any children. Okay, so in those days, as many of you might know, in the Indian tradition, if a man doesn't have children through the first wife, he would marry a second time. Okay. So, with the consent of his first wife, Sravanamma, he married another girl by the name of Parvati. Parvati was from a nearby village called Hasanabada. Okay. So, he married her and then they had a total of 6 children. Okay. 2 of the children passed away at a very young age. And so 4 children were left, 2 girls and 2 boys. Okay. So the girls were the eldest. I mean, the older ones were the girls and the younger ones were the boys. So Satyaraju had 1 elder brother and 2 elder sisters. Okay, now it is told to us that Bhimanna, that is Satyraju's father, knew astrology. Okay, looks like he knew it very well and he was quite confident in it. So he looked at the astrology of the boy, Satyaraju, when he was born. I mean, going by the stars, the planets, the position of the planets at the time of his birth. Okay. So based on that, he came to a conclusion that either the boy would die at the age of 2, at a very young age, or if he survives, then he'll become a very great man. Okay. Now, so one way the story is told is that uh, Allaka Bhimanna wanted to do something to make sure that his youngest son does not pass away at that young age. Okay. So the story that is told to us is that he wished to give his life to his son so that his son might live and become a very great saint or very great man. I don't think he predicted that Satyaraju would be a saint or a yogi. He just said that Satyaraju would become very famous and a very great man. That's all he said. Okay. So, I mean, a thing that happened during those days, it's a little bit of a surprise because in those days, girls were married at a very young age, even before they attained puberty. Actually, the custom is that if a girl attains puberty before her wedding, that was considered bad. Okay. Meaning, before a girl attains puberty, she has to be married off. Okay. So that was there, that custom was there. But in the case of his two daughters, he married them really, I mean, at a really early age. Okay. So before Satyaraju could turn 2 years of age, both his elder sisters were married off. So Bhimanna took care that the girls are married off because marrying girls, daughters, is considered to be a very heavy burden on the family, okay, especially in the poor families. So he tried to clear that burden, and then he passed away when Satyaraju was just 2 years of age. Okay. So the interpretation is that, he made sure that the daughters are married off before he passes away. Okay. And it looks like he told this to his wife. He did not disclose it publicly, but he told his wife that our son is going to become a very great man, but I won't live to see him become a great man. Okay. So that is the story at that time. So because Allaka Bhimanna passed away, it was just Parvatamma and her children who were living by themselves in their house. So Goli Satyam, who was the father of Allaka Parvatamma, he moved to Adivarappeta so that he can live along with them and support the family. In the family, there was no other man, right, who could take care of the family. So he moved to Adivarappeta to take care of his widowed daughter and his grandchildren. Okay. So as I told you earlier, although the girls were married, they continued to live with their parents. Okay, they would not move out until, I mean, they would not go to their husbands' houses until they attained puberty. Okay, so that was the custom in those days. So this way, the whole burden of supporting the four children fell on Allaka Parvatamma, the mother of Satyaraju. Okay. So she was struggling to bring them up. There was no other income except the income that comes from weaving to those families. And now in this family, there was nobody to do that work. Goli Satyam was an old man, so he could not weave cloth, but he was there only to support the family. So I am told that, I was told that Allaka Parvatamma used to make dosas, thin pancakes that we make in India. She used to make them and sell them to earn a living for herself and her family. Okay. So that is how she took care of the family. Okay. Now there is a little story here which I would like to narrate, which highlights the abject poverty that Satyaraju was brought up in and her mother's sacrifice. Okay. So this story was also told to us by Swamiji himself. So it seems as Satyaraju was growing up, you know, his father passed away. So his mother brought him up, and his grandfather was there to support him. And he used to rely on his grandfather for any advice, any kind of training, and all that. Okay. So at about the age of 5, it seems Satyaraju felt that his mother would give him food whenever he asked for it. I mean, whenever he went and complained to his mother that he is hungry, his mother would give him something to eat. Okay. But it occurred to him that she never ate anything, or he never saw her eating anything, any food at all. Okay. So that started bothering him. Why doesn't mother eat anything? So it seems one day he wanted to find out. So what he did was, as usual, he used to go out and play because he was a very small child in those days, 5 years of age. So he had gone out early in the morning itself to play with the others, village children. Then he came back home and he told his mother, "Mother, I am hungry." So immediately his mother emptied a small vessel of rice, cooked rice,
Right.
onto a plate and then put the plate in front of him, asking him to have the rice. Okay. But it seems Satyaraju, he noticed that all the rice had been emptied onto his plate. So he said, "Mother, I have not seen you eating anything. It's since morning. So why don't you have half of this? I will have the other half." She said, "No, no, no. I have already eaten. So now don't worry about me. Go ahead and have the rice because you're hungry." He insisted, "No, I won't have the whole of it. Please take half of it and you can have it. I'll have half of it." Okay. So because he was insisting, what she did was she took half of the rice from that plate into another plate and she kept it aside. Okay, and asked him to eat the rice, saying that she will have the rice, her portion of the rice later on. Okay. So Satyaraju started eating his rice. He finished eating and then he ran out as though he's going to join the games again. Okay. But his intention was different. He wanted to check whether his mother is having food or not. So what he did was he pretended as though he is running away to join the games with the other children. But actually, what he did was he hid from the sight of Parvatamma and started observing to check whether his mother would have that rice or any food or not. Okay. Then, as he continued to watch, this lady didn't have anything to eat at all. She just continued whatever work she was doing. Okay. So after a few hours, Satyaraju again came back running into the house as though he has come from the games. And then he again told his mother, Mother, I am again feeling hungry. So immediately, Allaka Parvatamma stopped whatever work she was doing and she took the plate of rice where she had placed it earlier and placed that plate of rice in front of Satyaraju. Then Satyaraju said, No, but this was rice that you kept for yourself to eat. Then why are you giving it to me? Why don't you eat it? She said, No, I am not hungry. You go ahead because you are hungry. You eat this rice. Don't worry about me. And he said, No, I don't see you having any food at all. Why do you do that? Please have this rice. Okay. So because he insisted and then he confronted her, she could not tell him the truth. So suddenly tears welled up in her eyes and she started crying, sobbing actually. Okay, so that shocked Satyaraju. He didn't understand. He got perplexed. I am only asking her to eat some food. And I have seen that she has not had any food at all. So that's why I asked her to have the food. But instead of having the food, she starts crying. Why does she do this? Did I hurt her in any way? Because that was never his intention. Okay, he loved his mother very much, so he didn't intend to hurt her. So he ran away to his grandfather, and then he told his grandfather, "Grandfather, I noticed that mother is not eating any food, so I insisted that she eat some food. But instead of having the food, she is crying. So why is mother crying?" Okay, so the grandfather understood what must have happened. And then he explained to Satyaraju. Please remember, the boy's age is just 5 years. No? So just becoming aware of things around him and the world, right? Just beginning to. So even at that age, he had this intelligence to understand that his mother was not having food. So now his grandfather explained to him, now look, Satyaraju, we are poor, meaning the whole family, okay? Your father has passed away. There is nobody to earn money. Okay. So we don't have money even to buy sufficient food for all of us. Okay. So that is the reason what your mother is trying to do is she is starving. She stays hungry as much as she can so that you children can have at least enough food so that you are not hungry. Okay. So this is the sacrifice that your mother is doing. Okay, so at that young age of 5 years, Satyaraju understood what poverty was. His grandfather explained to him that we are poor because we don't have money. But poverty is not a disgrace. Then how do we come out of this? He said, hard work is the only solution. You have to work hard. You have to earn money. And then you can have enough food to eat. The whole family can have enough food to eat. Okay. So it seems even at that age, at the age of 5, Satyaraju wanted to work. So what's the work that was available for a little child of 5 years in that village? So then he could see that people who do the weaving work, there are different activities in weaving a sari or a dhoti. Okay. So before the actual cloth is woven on the reams, okay, the handloom reams, looms, hand looms, okay, there is a lot of preparation work that is done. So in the preparation work, there is a lot of help required from others. One man won't be able to do it. So what happens generally is the whole, the small teams in the village, they help each other. Okay. And that's how they do their work. So then Satyaraju found that there is some work that even a little boy can do. And so it seems from that day onwards, he started working. So he would just help others in doing that preparatory work before an actual sari is woven. Okay. And Swamiji told us that he used to be paid 1 paisa, just a single paisa every day. I mean, for those who are from outside of India, let me explain that a paisa is 1/100th of a rupee. Okay. So that is how much he used to be paid. I mean, I am talking about what, 70 years ago? 1940, probably 1940. Yeah. So not even 70. It's about 85 years ago. Okay. So right from that age, he understood that his family is poor. He understood that he has to work hard to see that his family is fed properly. And so as soon as he could, he started weaving saris. Okay. Now, so I mean, because this is a story about the Holy Mother of Swamiji, I will not go into the rest of the details which pertain to Satyaraju. Let us move to the other part of the story where again the mother plays a part. Okay. So this was in the year 1949 when Satyaraju was about 14 years old. Okay. So it seems his grandfather, that is Goli Satyam, he had cataract in his eyes and it had become bad, so he could not see properly. So it had to be, I mean, the eyes had to be operated. Now, Adivarapeta being a very small village and the nearby town is Draksharamam, uh, such treatments were not available there. So they had to go to Kakinada, I mean, the big town nearby, which is about 30 kilometers. I think in those days, public transport buses plied between towns. So these people had to come to Draksharama, board a bus, and go to Kakinada. Okay. So Allaka Parvatamma took her father, Goli Satyam, to Kakinada to get his eyes operated for cataract. Okay. So Satyaraju gave them some money from his earnings. By that time, he started earning well and he had started a big business also. I mean, a little petty business, where he would sell cigarettes and cigars and country BDs and all that. Okay. Chocolates, peppermints, beetle net, beetle leaves, and all those. So from that, he had earned enough money in addition to the handloom that work that he was doing. So out of that money, he gave some money to his mother and sent them to Kakinada. Okay. So this lady, she took her father to Kakinada, and the plan was that after a couple of days, Satyaraju would go to Kakinada and then pick up his mother and grandfather from wherever the cataract operation was being done. Okay. So this lady was there, the operation was done, and she was waiting for Satyaraju to come and take them home from Kakinada. Okay. But he never turned up. So she didn't know what to do. Ultimately, I think she must have taken a bus to Draksharamam and she came to Draksharamam. And I guess they walked all the way from Draksharamam to Adivarapeta because there were no roads, You could not have taken an auto rickshaw or even a normal cycle rickshaw in those days. So the only option was to walk. And even the walk had to be along the uh, field bunds, the bunds that are built between the fields. You had to walk along those to reach Adivarapeta from Draksharamam. There was no proper road in those days. Okay. So that's how they must have reached Adivarapeta. Now, as soon as she and her father, they reached Adivarapeta, people ran towards them. And then they told the mother and the grandfather that something awful has happened to Satyaraj. So she was shocked. That's when she realized why Satyaraju did not go to Kakinada to bring them back home. Okay. And then she was worried as to what happened to my son. And then she started running, and then she reached the point at the other end of the village, you know, which is the canal end of the village. Okay. So there, her son was sitting under the Ravi tree. I don't know what it's called in English. Okay. It's a tree which is considered very sacred in our Hindu tradition. Okay, so Satyaraju was seated under the tree and he would not talk. His eyes were closed. And even if people called him, even when his mother called him, he would not respond. So this lady was totally shocked. She didn't know what to do, and some people around her in the village, they told her that his son is possessed, meaning possessed by a ghost, and that's how he is behaving like this. So that alarmed her even more. Then what to do? She didn't know what to do in that case. Okay. Then she just started crying and sobbing and wailing there. And then she tried to hug Satyaraju to wake him up from that unconscious state. Okay. She didn't know what happened. See, please remember this. Although we know what happened on the 7th of August, 1949, to Satyaraju, nobody in that village knew what happened. We know it now because Swamiji told us what happened, but Swamiji told us or them or all the people much later. Okay, at that time he did not tell anybody. Okay, he didn't probably realize that it was actually a vision, it was actually a manifestation of an astral body and not a real Jangama Devara who was standing in front of him. Okay, so nobody knew what happened to him. Okay, same case was with Parvatamma. She must have asked the villagers there, but they didn't know what happened to him. So they could not tell her. So she was very worried and then she was crying and wailing and then she tried to hug him. And it seems at that moment, because of her loud wailing and crying and all that, or maybe it is some other reason, the connection between the mother and the child, that it seems Satyaraju came out of samadhi for a brief time. Okay. So in that time, realizing that her son is now conscious and is able to listen to them and understand them, she tried to beg him to return home. Okay. All the time he was sitting there on the canal bund, on the bank of the canal, and he didn't go home to sleep, nor did he eat anything. He was sitting there all the time. Okay. So she begged him to come home. So it seems at that moment, Just for once, Swamiji told her, no, I am on a different path now. I have taken a divine path and I am continuing on this path. I am not willing to come home. Okay. Now, later he explained to us that attachment that was there, the family ties that were there with the mother, his other, his siblings, his other brother and the sisters and all, and then his friends, the villagers. He told us that all that was lost. He couldn't relate to any of them. Okay. After he had the sight of the Jangamadevara, and Jangamadevara initiated him into tapas. So he lost all attachments with the world. No worldly attachments after that. Okay. So he told his mother, I won't come home. This is a path that I have chosen. I am going to continue on this. Okay. So the mother could not bear it. She was even more shocked. But the grandfather, it seems, understood what the boy told him, and he knew that he is now determined to continue on that path and he won't come home. Okay. But he was also very worried because Satyaraju was the only one who was earning money for the family to survive. Okay. They had no other support. They had nobody else to support them. They were all relying on him, on his income, on his business, his weaving to meet the ends. Okay. So because Satyaraju was working and earning, they had proper meals until that time. But now that he has left home, he is not going to work. They were worried. Actually, his grandfather was worried as to how the house will run. Okay. So it seems he expressed that concern to Satyaraju. But Satyaraju told him that don't worry about that. You will not face any problems. God will take care of you. Okay. Now, so this much happened. And then again, Satyaraju went silent. So they didn't know what to do. His mother also did not know what to do. Okay. So this way, days went on, and Satyaraju just continued being in Samadhi 23 hours a day. Okay. Now, Allaka Parvatamma, she wanted to stay by his side because she wanted to protect him. She didn't know what will happen to him if he's left alone on the canal bank throughout the day and night. So she tried to stay with him, but it seems that time she had a vision of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, and they told her that you are not supposed to be here. Not only you, no one should be here near him because he is doing tapas. Okay? Your presence is going to disturb him. ఇప్పుడే కాదు బాలు, దానికి వస్తాను ఇంకా కొంచెం ముందుకి. ఉండిలే అది అలా ఉండి. సో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ that advice that was given by the gods, she went home, but she was continuously worried about her son, okay, during the nights. In the day, probably she used to take an opportunity to go and see him in the midst of her work. She would take a break and go and see him. But during the whole night, she used to keep worrying about him. Now, it so happened, it seems, during that time, see, that was the month of August, right? August, September, October. September, October is the monsoon time in India, South India specifically. Okay, so it seems one night there was a very huge storm. Okay. There was heavy rain lashing down, and a very strong wind was blowing. Okay. So she was worried. I mean, she was at home. It was during the night, probably early morning, very early in the morning. So she was worried as to what would happen to her son, who is out, who is outdoors on the bank of the canal under a tree with no protection above his head and nothing to protect around him also, right? So she was worried, but it seems the storm was so severe that she could not go out of the house. Okay. So she just patiently waited until the storm abated a little. When the wind force was down a little, speed was down a little, then she took the courage and then she tried to walk to the spot where Satyaraju was seated from his home. In the storm, she realized that a lot of trees in the village were uprooted because of the rain and the wind. Okay. And she was worried as to what would have happened to his son, whether he has survived the storm or is he hurt or something happened to him. And what we are told is that on that night, when she was trying to go and reach her son, a broken branch fell almost on her head. So luckily she escaped being hurt. Okay, and she could manage to walk to the spot where Satyaraju was seated. So you can see in the picture, the young boy sitting there is Satyaraju, and that's the only shelter that was provided for him to sit and continue his meditation below that tree. Okay. And to her surprise, she noticed that nothing happened to the tree, nothing happened to the Palmyra shelter that was put to protect him also. So she was perplexed to know what happened. How come there is such severe damage all around him, but the spot where he is sitting is not disturbed at all? Okay. So she was wondering what is happening, who is protecting him and all that. So at that time, Swamiji told us that she happened to just look up, probably because she saw some bright light there. And that is when she again saw Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, the Trimurtis, on the tree. She had a vision. Okay. So this proved to her that her son was under the protection of the Trimurtis, okay, under the protection of God. And this also established that, I mean, to her, not to the rest of the villagers, probably, but to her, it was established that they will take care of him. His safety is in their hands, so she need not worry about him. Okay. So that darshan that she had of the Trimurtis, that gave her confidence. See, until now she had a doubt, right? Whether her son, what happened to her son? Is he mentally disturbed? Like some people thought that he had fits. Okay. Epilepsy is what they call, right? The English term for that. So some people said that he had that. Some people said he was possessed. So she didn't know what really happened. But this darshan that we had, that Allaka Parvatamma had during that storm, I mean, after the storm abated, and when she saw that her son was totally safe, not only her son, but the little environment around her, around him, the Palmyra shelter, the tree under which the shelter was built, all that was totally undisturbed. Okay. So that gave her confidence that her son is being taken care of by the gods. Okay. Now, so from this point onwards, we are told that she stopped considering Satyaraju as her son And instead, she realized that he is a divine being, and she became his first devotee. Okay. So from that time, she also tried to detach that relationship with him as a mother and a son, and instead took him to be a saint and a guru to her. So she started serving him as a disciple would serve a guru rather than a mother serving the child. Okay. So that is how the little transformation in her attitude happened. Okay. Now, due to this incident, no, let me say this at this point and then later on I'll come to it. So this incident led to the Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara temple at Swamiji's ashram in Bangalore. I'll come and I'll explain to you how that has happened and what Swamiji told us about it. Okay. Now we know the story of how all the villages, I mean, not all the villages, but many of the villagers troubled Satyaraju. They disturbed his dhyan, meditation, his tapas. Okay. So ultimately, Satyaraju had to go to uh, the burial ground of the little children, and there a permanent structure was built for him, and then he started doing the tapas there. Okay. A little away from the village. Okay. Now, so we will come to a point where again, I mean, we know what all service she had done for him throughout the tapas, right? She was the one who used to take care of him. Earlier, as I had discussed, when Tapaswiji Maharaj came to see Satyaraju, and then I mean, he told the people around Satyaraju that if Satyaraju doesn't take any food, I think he told Satyaraju himself, I'm sorry, that if he doesn't take food, his body would perish. Okay. So that's when he advised Satyaraju to take at least a glass of milk, a cup of milk every day. Okay. Now, so that job was actually to be done by his mother, Allaka Parvatamma. So it seems when she was told about that, about the requirement of feeding her son with a glass of milk every day, it seems she ran all the way to Draksharamam to catch Tapasviji Maharaj, who was leaving. And then she complained to him, saying that, Sir, I don't have any means to buy that milk for my son. And it seems you told him that unless he takes the milk every day, at least a glass of milk, his body would perish. And so I don't know what to do. How can I feed him the milk? Okay. So it seems then Tapasviji Maharaj, as I told you earlier, he bought a cow and a calf right then at Draksharamam and donated them to Parvatamma. Okay. So she brought the cow and calf, she reared them, she fed them, and she gave the milk from that cow to Sachraju every day. Okay. So, like that, she was the one who used to take care of him throughout the tapas. Okay. All the 12 years of the tapas. Then, of course, as I explained to you earlier, my grandfather also helped him. Okay. So, I mean, to tell you the importance of that, I think I related this also earlier. A few devotees in US asked Swamiji, about his tapas, how could he survive and all that. So Swamiji gave the credit for his survival, for his body to survive to three people. The first one was Allaka Parvatamma, okay? Then Tapasviji Maharaj, and the third one was my grandfather. He said it is these three people who made sure that Satyraju's body did not perish. And because of that only, he could complete his tapas and become a yogi, and he's able to serve all of us all over the world. Okay. So now, so I mean, I would like to add information about Allaka Parvatama Garu after Swamiji finished his tapas. Okay. Now, see, the whole thing changed, right? I mean, once when people from outside started coming for his darshan to Adivarapeta, and he was recognized as a great saint. I'm talking about even while he was doing the tapas, okay? The whole situation changed. He started getting financial support. There were a lot of people to help him financially and otherwise. He got the tiger skins he wanted and all that happened, right? So the whole, I mean, the attitude of the villagers also changed because of that. Okay. A boy who was considered a very naughty boy and a very poor villager, today he had become a saint. So the whole attitude changed. Okay. So it seems people who had made fun of him and actually troubled him, they also became his devotees when they realized that he is a yogi. Okay. They also started coming to him. They also started having darshan of Swamiji, taking vibhuti from him and all this. Okay. So I remember one incident that happened in her life. It seems at one point, after Swamiji completed his tapas, okay, a person who was opposed to Satyaraju and who used to treat Satyaraju very badly when he was in tapas, okay. Now it seems he started coming to Swamiji and having his darshan and talking to him and taking vibhuti from him. So it so happened that Parvatama Garu was there with Swamiji. So as soon as she saw that person there, fellow villager, but who troubled her and her son a lot while her son was doing the tapas. So she started venting her anger against him. Okay, this fellow, he has done this, he has done that, and now he has become a devotee. He has come to Swamiji, he is trying to serve him, he is begging Swamiji for vibhuti and all that. So the few others, I mean, the other outsiders, probably my grandfather, and there was a doctor, and there were others there from Kakinada and other nearby towns. So they felt that it was not decent, it was not dignified to remind people about the old bad things that they had done. So they tried to tell Swamiji, Swamiji, your mother is abusing these people who have come for your darshan now, they are devotees now. So it seems Swamiji told them, now please try to understand this. When people troubled me or my mother, remember that I was in Samadhi the whole time, okay? I could not hear what they said. I did not even feel the hurt when they actually hurt me, right? But that was not the case with my mother. My mother was a normal human being, conscious all the time, and she hadn't done anything wrong. Okay? So when such a lady is being abused, she was very much hurt, right? Unlike me, who was in Samadhi, who did not hear, who did not see all that. Okay? So that is the reason she is trying to vent her anger against them. So I don't see anything wrong in that. Okay? This is how Swamiji defended her. Okay? Now, then there is another interesting incident that happened. It's an interesting one, so I just wanted to share that. This happened much later when Mataji had come to Swamiji, became his devotee. Then she went to Adivarapeta to spend time with him because she was a devotee now. And it seems there she presented Swamiji with a gold necklace. Okay. It was a heavy gold necklace, and that was presented to Swamiji by the queen. Okay. And it seems Swamiji gave it to his mother, Allaka Parvatamma, to wear it on a particular day. Okay. So when Allaka Parvatamma was wearing it, there were some ladies around, relatively well-to-do ladies, who saw that gold necklace around Allaka Parvatamma's neck, and they could not control themselves. It seems one of them, those ladies, blurted out, "Is that real gold?" Okay. Now, so by this time, Allaka Parvatama could not reply to them or could not shout at them or get angry at them. So what she apparently said is, what to do when poor people wear gold, it becomes brass. When rich people wear brass, even brass, it will be considered gold. It's not a question of whether that ornament is really made of gold or not, but the status of the people which makes it gold or not gold. Okay. So this is the witty way in which she replied, it seems. Okay. Now, after that, we'll move to Bangalore, where the old ashram was built for Swamiji, and Swamiji was invited to Bangalore to occupy that ashram and then continue his mission from there. Okay. So it was only after he moved to Bangalore that Swamiji allowed Allaka Parvatamma to come and join him, because now he had a place to live, right? Until then, he was living at Tapaswiji Maharaj's ashram in the Nandi Hills, okay, along with a few of his devotees. Okay. Now that he had a regular ashram, he allowed his mother to come and join him from Adivarapeta. So that's where she came and joined him. And there she used to take care of not only Swamiji, but also his devotees. Those close disciples who had accompanied him from Adivarapeta, they were living with him. So they had to be fed. So she would perform the cooking for them. Okay. She would cook the food for them and then feed them. So like that, she would do all the work at the ashram. And gradually, as the number of devotees increased and Swamiji started giving trance, one of the duties that she took up was feeding the devotees. Okay. Irrespective of the number of devotees who came to see Swamiji, she would feed them. I mean, I'm not referring to people from Bangalore who would probably come to the ashram, have the prasadam, and then go home. But I'm talking about people who used to come from out of Bangalore. Okay. Probably from Hyderabad or from Adivarapeta or from other towns. When they came here, they had to stay with Parvatam Garu herself. Okay. So for that purpose, what Swamiji did was, in addition to his ashram, his old ashram, he got a house in the area that is called Jayanagar Ninth Block. Okay. So he moved his mother and a few of her grandchildren and children to, I mean, by that time they were also old, right? Even his sisters were old enough now. So they had moved to the house in Jayanagar ninth block, about a kilometer from the ashram. Okay. So all the people who used to come from out of station, they all used to stay with Parvatama Garu at the house in Jayanagar. They would go to the ashram only to have Swamiji's darshan, but they would have all their meals at the house where Swamiji's mother stayed. Okay. So she was responsible for the cooking. She would cook food for them. She would feed all of them. Okay. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, tea and coffee, everything. Okay. Of course, she had a group of devotees here from, I mean, local devotees who helped her. So, with their help, she would take care of all the visiting devotees. Okay. Number of devotees. We people who came from other towns and villages, devotees of Swamiji, they could not afford to stay in hotels and pay for the room rent and all that, right? So they used to just leave at the stay at Amagaru's place, house, and have food there, and then have Swamiji's darshan and leave. That's all. Okay. So that was the arrangement before the new ashram was built. By the way, the new ashram got built only in, I mean, it was opened, it was being built, but it was opened only in 1977 after Allaka Parvatamma's Mahasamadhi. Okay. Now, so Allaka Parvatamma, she took care of a few duties at the ashram. One of the duties, as I told you, was to take care of feeding the visiting devotees. Not only feeding, she would even make sure that we had hot water for taking our bath. Okay, I know all this because I came to Bangalore in the year 1969 when Swamiji completed his 1 year tapas, and that day he was to come out of the tapas. 1969, 7th of August. Okay. I was about 9 years old at that time, and I had come to Bangalore from Hyderabad along with my parents and my siblings. So we stayed at Amagaru's place. Okay. We slept there. We had our meals there. We had our bath there, along with the other devotees who had also come for uh, the tapas ceremony. Okay. I mean, Swamiji coming out of the tapas ceremony, the tapas completion ceremony. You know, People who could afford could go to hotels and then stay in hotels, and then they used to come for darshan. Probably they stayed in other devotees' homes also. But we stayed at Amma's place. Okay. Now, the other duties that she took over was that she used to support the devotees a lot. Okay. Now, for one example, what she used to do was people who were in trance, she used to help them and support them. What do I mean by support? See, as the bhajan continues, the devotees who are in trance, they are dancing, they are running around, they are moving. Okay. So after a while, they feel thirsty. They need to drink water. So they ask for water. So Parvatamma was the first one because she understood what trance was because of her experience with trance while she was still at Adivarapeta. Okay. So because of that, she knew how to take care of the trance devotees. And even here in Bangalore, she would take care of them. Okay. Like giving them water, giving them prasadam when they asked for it. Okay. Either for them to eat or for them to bless and give to other devotees. And also when they asked for vibhudi, she is the one who would give to them. Okay. And by the way, she also used to experience trance. Swamiji used to give her trance. She used to complain, she used to get angry at Swamiji for making her dance in public, but Swamiji would just laugh it away. That's all. Okay. So let me tell you, see, this is a picture of Allaka Parvatamma in trance. That's a rare picture. I think we just have about one or two of those pictures. So this is in the old Bangalore ashram on the Banargata road. Okay, we see the bhajan is going on, and Swamiji's photograph is placed against the door to his darshan hall. Most probably Swamiji was not there when this photo was taken. Okay, probably Swamiji was traveling elsewhere, not in Bangalore. Okay. Now, so let me give you two specific examples of how she used to help devotees. I mean, the way people saw it was she would fight with Swamiji to help devotees. I'll give you a couple of examples. The first one is that of a lady by the name of Chaudamma. She was from Bangalore. Okay. She had four daughters, but she did not have any sons, no male children. Okay. So she was very worried, and her husband also was very worried because in those days, not having a son, not having a male child was considered very bad. Unless you have a child, who is going to take care of you after your death or even during the last days of your life? Okay. Because it's only the sons who used to take care of the parents, because the girls would get married and leave, right? The daughters would get married and leave as per our Indian custom. They would go to their husbands' houses. So who takes care of the parents? It is the sons. So not having a son, I mean, in that sense also it was considered bad. Plus, after the death, it is the son who has the right to perform the rituals, either the last rituals or the annual ritual which is conducted after a person passes away. Now, that right is with the sons only. The daughters are not allowed to do that. Okay? So, probably for that reason, it was considered bad if you don't have sons. Okay? So, for this reason, Chaudamma and her husband were very worried that they don't have male children. So Chaudamma would come to Swamiji regularly and then beg him for sons, for male children. Okay. This kept on happening, and then she did not have any sons for a long time. So she got very upset. And the story we hear is that one day she got so upset that she threatened to jump into the well at the old ashram. Okay. Behind the ashram, there was a well there. I think it's not there anymore now. So she threatened to jump into that and then die, commit suicide. Okay. So at that time, some people must have seen her and told Allaka Parvatamma, Swamiji's mother. So she went and she saved her from jumping into the well. And then she brought Chaudamma to Swamiji in a fit of anger. And it seems she started shouting at Swamiji. This lady, she comes to you every week. She has your darshan, she worships you, and she doesn't have male children, and you refuse to give her male children. That is very bad of you. You are our guru. You have to take care of this. Okay. So then Swamiji had to relent, and then he blessed some vibhuti and gave it to Chaudamma for her to consume. Okay. And then what happened was, after she got the blessed vibhuti from Swamiji, she gave birth to five sons. Okay. One after the other in as many years. Okay. And it seems after the last son was born, Chaudamma again went and had to beg Swamiji, Swamiji, please stop. I don't want any more children. Okay. So this is the way, we would consider it as a miracle that was performed by Swamiji, but Allaka Parvatamma had a role to play in that. Okay. Again, there is another example, again of childbirth only. Okay, I mean, there must have been a lot of examples, but these are the examples that I know. Okay, now there was, I mean, there is a devotee, he's still alive now, by the name of Venkataswamy. He was married, but he didn't have a child for a very long time, several years. Okay, so it seems one day, Allaka Parvatama, Swamiji's mother, casually asked him, uh, how many children do you have? So then he told her, no, I don't have any children. Why didn't you go and ask Swamiji? Probably he was shy or he didn't want to ask Swamiji, so he didn't say anything, he kept quiet. Then it seems again, Swamiji's mother dragged him to Swamiji and said, see, this fellow is a very good devotee. He comes here every day. He serves your mission. He is a volunteer here. He does a lot of work. And don't you know that he doesn't have any children? Why don't you give him children? Okay. So again, Venkat Swami was given a piece of blessed vibhuti, and then he had a son. Okay. I mean, his wife gave birth to a son a few months after that. There are plenty of such stories like that, which we hear from the senior devotees of Bangalore, who used to uh, worship Allaka Parvatam Garu because of the help that she received and her concern for the devotees. Okay. Although she was the mother of a great saint, a great yogi, it never got to her head. She always remained very humble and she identified with the devotees. She used to help them to the extent possible. In her own way, I should say. She could not do what Swamiji could do, but she helped them in her own way. Okay. This is how her life went. And then let's come to, I mean, this was, I'm talking about 70s, 75, 76. Parvatama was getting old, and it seems she was getting a little weak. She had probably, she was also suffering from pain. So she had, I mean, but she had a lot of work to do, right? She would not stop working. So it seems she started complaining to Swamiji, saying that, I'm not feeling well, I have this pain or that problem and all that. And it seems in 1973 or 74, Parvatama suffered a heart attack and was hospitalized. Okay. Now, this at this time, I mean, Swamiji told us what happened actually during this time. So it seems Swamiji went to Yamaloka because he didn't want his mother to pass away at that time. He wanted her to live for a little longer. Okay. So it seems he went to Yamaloka, uh, obviously in his astral body. Okay. And he told us that at the entrance to the Yamaloka, there were guards who tried to stop him. Okay. And he told us that a guard even bet him up to stop him from going inside. But Swamiji told us that he anyway went inside. He reached uh, the hall where Lord Yama was seated on the throne. Okay. Then he told us that Lord Yama recognized him as a great yogi and invited him respectfully and offered a, a throne similar to the one that he was seated on by his side. Okay. So it seems Swamiji went and sat there. But to our surprise, Swamiji told us that neither did he say a word, nor did Yamadharmaraja say a word. Okay. But Swamiji told us that Lord Yama understood why Swamiji went to him to beg for the extension of his mother's life. Okay. So Lord Yama granted that. And so Allaka Parvatama could recover from her illness and she survived for a few more days. Okay. A few more months probably. Okay. So this is one of the stories that Swamiji told us as to how he brought back her to life. There is another, I mean, this is just the last part of it. Every summer, Swamiji used to go to North India. Okay. That was his routine, I mean, annual routine. So for Mahashivratri, he would go to Adivarapeta from Bangalore. And from Adivarapeta, he would go to North India. Okay. Then he would return to Bangalore for the August 7th function, the Tapas anniversary function. Okay. So in June every year, he generally used to be in Dehradun. Okay. I am talking about the June of 1976. So again, Swamiji was in Dehradun, but it seems there was a wedding of a devotee's daughter, which was fixed here in Bangalore. Okay. So this devotee, obviously a rich devotee, he bought tickets for Swamiji to come to Bangalore from Delhi, attend the wedding, and then go back to Delhi again to continue his programs at Dehradun and the rest of North India. Okay. So Swamiji came to Bangalore in June 1976 to attend the wedding. He attended the wedding and then he was to go back on the 15th of June. The flight was early in the morning. So he had left for the airport very early in the morning. Those of you in Bangalore, please remember that the airport in those days was near HAL. It is not the current airport now. Okay. So it was much closer, not this far away from the city, not very far away from the old ashram. Okay. So Swamiji was on the way to the airport or probably at the airport. And then it seems that night, I'm talking about 14th night, okay, the intervening night of 14th and 15th. Seems Alaka Parvatama was there at the old ashram doing some work. She was busy until 9, I mean, until late night. Then she went home, I mean, to Jayanagar 9th block, and she went to sleep there. Sometime during the night, she woke up to go to the toilet. And it seems there she fell down. Okay. And nobody noticed that, probably until daybreak. Okay. So early in the morning, the others who must have tried to go to the toilet, they must have noticed that she had fallen down and they picked her up and then they brought her out. And by about 5 o'clock in the morning that day, it seems she started chanting the names of gods, Shankara, Shiva, Swami, like this. So because she was talking, they thought that, oh, she is okay, she is going to recover. But then it seems she passed away. Okay, so that was on the 15th of June, 1976. So when that happened, Swamiji was at the airport to catch a flight to Delhi, returning to Delhi and from there to Dehradun. Okay. Now, my guess, I mean, we don't have the information with us. We don't have a record of who conveyed the information to Swamiji. See, in those days, there were no mobile phones. You will understand that. But even if there were landline phones, there was a phone at the ashram. But how do you reach a person who is at the airport? How do you call him? How do you convey a message to him, right? There was no way. So most probably what I think is one of the devotees must have rushed to, devotees or Swamiji's relatives would have rushed to the old airport, probably by some vehicle that was available, okay? And then informed Swamiji that Allaka Parvatama has passed away, okay? So when he got the news, it seems Swamiji came back from the airport to the ashram, but he did not go to his mother's house. Probably he never went there at all, okay? And so the preparations were made for her final funeral, okay? And then Swamiji decided to intern her body at the old ashram itself. So a particular spot was identified, and there a pit was dug, and all preparations were made. The priests were called, and Swamiji came out at the time of interning her holy physical body in that pit. Only at that time he could come out and also participated in that ceremony. Okay. So what we hear from other devotees is that that ceremony was performed as if a saint, I mean, if a saint passes away, what all final rites are performed for the saint, the same rites were performed for her, for Parvatama. Okay. And then she was put into Samadhi there. And then a small structure was built over that Samadhi. Okay. Now, since then, that Samadhi had become a very, auspicious, I don't know whether to say auspicious, sacred spot for Swamiji. Okay. I mean, his behavior told us that he would go there to pay his respects to his mother. Okay. Now, for example, whenever Swamiji left Bangalore, either by road or by air, okay, that is, if he is leaving by air, that means he goes to the airport and then boards a flight there, right? Or if he goes by road, then he travels by car. Okay. In either case, he would go to the old ashram and he would sit in meditation for a little while, a few minutes, okay, at his mother's samadhi, pray to her, okay, and then only leave Bangalore. In the same way, when he came back to Bangalore, every time, please remember this, okay? Every time he returned to Bangalore, every time he left Bangalore, he would do that. Every time he returned to Bangalore also, whether he came by air or by road, he would make it a point to go to the old ashram, pay his respects to her, and then only return to the new ashram. Okay, because he shifted to the new ashram in 1977. That was after Parvatama's Mahasamadhi. Okay. Now, so that was how much importance Swamiji gave to her Samadhi there. Okay. Now, when the temple, the Trimurti temple was built, okay, people asked him, why did you build this temple? What's the background? What made you build this temple? Okay. So then Swamiji revealed to us. Until then, nobody knew about it. Okay. So Swamiji revealed to us that, remember I told you the story about the storm, and when Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara gave her darshan and gave her the confidence that your son is not possessed by any ghost, nothing bad has happened to him. He is on a divine path. Okay. So this confidence she got because she had darshan of Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. So it seems later, probably when they came to Bangalore and when the ashram was given to him and all that. It seems once Allaka Parvatamma expressed her desire to Swamiji, saying that, I mean, he used to address him as Baba. That word is used to either address a father or also a son in Telugu, okay? So, Baba, if there is an opportunity, please build a temple for Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, the Trimurtis. Because your tapas, you could complete your tapas only by their blessings. And if I could serve you with the confidence that you are on a good spiritual path and you will succeed in your spiritual path, it is only because of the confidence that they gave me with their darshan. Okay? So if you have the opportunity, if you can do it, please build a temple for them. It seems this is what Allaka Parvatamma told Swamiji. Okay? So then after the new ashram land was obtained by the trust, by Swamiji's trust, it was the queen, Maharani Kailash Kumari Devi, and her husband, the Maharaja, they built the ashram there, the ashram building that is now currently standing there, where the Dhyan Mandir is there, and a few rooms are there for people to stay and all that. So after that was done, after Swamiji moved there, he initiated this project of constructing a temple in the ashram. Okay. So this was constructed to the north side, the north end of the JP Nagar ashram site. Okay. He had a lot of difficulty in building the ashram because he didn't have any funds. But yet we feel that, to keep the promise that he had given to his mother or her desire that he wanted to build the temple. Finally, he succeeded in building that temple. Actually, there are three sanctuaries, three shrines within the same building. One for Brahma and Saraswati, the next one for Maheshwara and Parvati, the third one for Mahavishnu and Lakshmi Devi. Okay. So if this temple is there in Swamiji's ashram today, the credit for that should also go to Allaka Parvatamma. Okay. Not only that, two other things I want to mention before I close this talk on Allaka Parvatamma. See, at the new ashram, there was a library actually. I mean, it was not functional to a great extent. There were a lot of books that Swamiji had collected over the years, all given by devotees. He didn't buy any books, okay? So he created a big hall with tables and chairs and all that. And he made that into a library. Okay. He wanted to name it Allaka Parvatamma Library. Okay. But the naming ceremony never happened. Uh, Somehow, the people who came there, very few of them would go into the library and actually read the books. The others were not interested. They would do bhajans, they would participate in the annadanam, they would participate in the cooking, but hardly anybody went to the library and read the books there. Okay. So now the library has been totally removed and that space has been converted into a boardroom for the trust, for the trustees to meet. Okay. Now that is one part. The other part is, I explained to you how Swamiji built the Trimurti temple. Okay. Now behind the temple, Swamiji constructed a huge auditorium. Okay. See, actually today, the Bangalore ashram is able to run well because of the income that auditorium is generating as it is being used as a wedding hall. Okay. probably Swamiji knew that this requirement will be there. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to run the ashram only on donations from devotees. Okay. So that is the reason he must have constructed he must have got the auditorium constructed. But he named it Srimati Allaka Parvatamma Auditorium. Okay, so that is the name that is used even now for that auditorium. Okay, now, so let us stop here. I think we are almost at the end of the session, 8:30. So if you have any questions about Parvatamma Garu, I can take them for the next 2-3 minutes, that's all. And then, of course, we have this informal session for the next half an hour. So those who have questions can discuss those questions. It can be any question. It need not be only on Allaka Parvatam Garu. Okay? Okay, Navya.
Yeah, thank you so much, Uncle. We
Yeah.
have couple of questions from YouTube Live.
Okay, Amma.
So one of them is
Yeah.
Swamiji was sad when his mother passed away.
Yeah.
Unlike us, he can
Huh.
easily see her soul and
Huh.
communicate with her
Huh.
astral body. So why did he feel sad even though he can communicate with her?
Okay. So who asked this question, Amma? Do you have the name?
It's an anonymous user, Uncle.
It's an anonymous user. Okay. So let me answer that. If you are given an opportunity, or the only way to communicate to your mother is by a phone call or a video conference, would that be sufficient to you? Don't you want to physically meet your mother? Okay. That is the explanation that I can give. Okay. Yes, Swamiji can communicate with her. Swamiji can talk to her, but it's not like having your mother in a physical body. Okay. So that creates the sadness. And then please understand, it's not just the question of missing a mother. Okay. She was not just a mother, she was also a very dear disciple and devotee of Swamiji who loved him very much. And so he also reciprocated the love, right? Now, this is the difference. I would like to take up another, this question. Actually, this aspect of the answer that I am discussing now at a different time and spend more time on it. See, until Satyaraju completed the tapas, he was a sannyasi, meaning he had to leave everything that was worldly. Understand? So he was totally cut off from the world, and then he had to do the tapas. Okay? But a yogi is not a sannyasi. Please understand that. Okay? For a sannyasi, there is no family. He leaves his family. He totally cuts himself off from the family. And he becomes alone, right? Totally alone, totally independent, and only dependent on God. But once he becomes a yogi, then the whole world, the whole universe is his family. Please try to understand that. He cares for everybody. Not only everybody, I should say every being in this planet, in this universe actually, okay? Including those who have lost their physical bodies and are surviving only in their astral forms. What I mean is the ghosts, okay? The yogi has to serve even them. So a yogi will not behave like a sannyasi. A yogi's behavior is entirely different. See the way Swamiji used to laugh, Swamiji used to enjoy along with all of us, and he used to entertain all of us. Why would a sannyasi do that? He would always stay aloof, right? He would always stay isolated by himself. A yogi doesn't do that. A yogi is not a sannyasi. Please understand that. Okay. I hope I have answered your question. So if you can reply to that, please do so.
Thank you, Uncle.
Yeah.
Uh, there is a following up question
Yeah.
from the same user, Uncle.
Huh.
I guess part of that was already answered by you in the past question. So
Huh.
the question is,
Huh.
did Swamiji really get sad when his mother passed away?
Huh.
I read somewhere that when
Huh.
he was asked that question in trance, he
Huh.
replied something like he did not get sad, etc.
No, I'm not aware of that.
Mm.
I'm not aware of that. What I'm aware of is that he was sad. When his mother passed away, he was very sad. Okay. But again, please try to understand that. I mean, actually, it's a continuation of the answer, that I gave earlier. We could feel that. I mean, we could perceive that sadness in him even when other devotees died. For example, when my mother passed away, okay, she was also very close and very devoted to Swamiji. But he was very sad when we conveyed the message to him. To the extent that, please understand this, he flew from Bangalore to Hyderabad to where we were living to pacify us. The three of us siblings, two brothers and one daughter, and our father. We were there, we lost our mother, okay? And within a short time, within about 15 days or so, I think, Swamiji made it a point to, to fly to Hyderabad just to meet us and pacify us. Why did he do that? Because he cared for us. A sannyasi wouldn't care for anybody, okay? This is the kind of attachment that I'm talking about. Whereas a sannyasi is detached from everybody, a yogi is not. A yogi is attached to everybody. Okay? Just like we say parents, right? Just like God. Just like we say God is our mother, God is our father, God is our guru. Yeah, he is our guru. He is like God. Okay? And we have seen that. Again, I could see this sadness in him when Yashodaka's father passed away. Okay. But the way they react is different. I mean, I could not get the time to discuss Adinarayana's life today. I wanted to do that. Let me just take a couple of minutes to explain that, right? See, Adinarayana wanted to accompany Swamiji to Sri Lanka on one of his trips. I think this was in 90 or 89. I'm not very sure. ಅಮ್ಮ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಮ್ಮ ನೋಡಿ. ಬಂದೆ ಅಪ್ಪ. I'm sorry, I had to open the door for my maid to come in. Okay. Uh, See, when Adinarayana, he wanted to go to Sri Lanka along with Swamiji on a trip for a program that was being conducted there. So Adinarayana accompanied Swamiji until Chennai. They had booked a flight from Chennai to Colombo. Okay. And so Adinarayana, Swamiji, and Yashodaka were to go together. So they were booked into a hotel, I think by the airlines, or I don't know if Swamiji himself booked the hotel for them. And so they were in the hotel. And it so happened that that night, before they were to go to Sri Lanka, to Colombo, Adinarayana passed away. Right in the presence of Swamiji, in that room itself. He was right in front of Swamiji and he lost his life. Okay. So Yashodaka, who was with Swamiji, she wondered whether Swamiji will proceed to Sri Lanka, proceed to Colombo or not, because Adinarana has passed away. A very close devotee, a devotee who had served him for probably 27 years, 28 years, very closely, okay? He was his driver for several years. So when such a devotee passes away, anybody would expect Swamiji to cancel his trip and then return home, right? But Swamiji did not do that. Yashodaka actually asked him, Swamiji, are you going to cancel the trip? He said, no, no way, I'm going to cancel the trip. This is my mission work. Okay? It's like in a war. This is exactly the words that he used, it seems. He said, in a war, if you sit there weeping behind a dead body, weeping with a dead body, the enemy will come and kill you. Okay? So, no, we cannot keep weeping for our dead ones. We have to move forward. This is a war. We have to continue and do our mission. Okay? So it's not that he was sad, but at the same time, his mission was much more important than his emotions. Okay? So he made arrangements for the dead body of Adinarayana to be sent back to Bangalore so that his family can perform the rites, and Swamiji and Yashodaka proceeded to Colombo. Okay? Again, let me uh, highlight here. It's not that Swamiji was not sad. He was. He was in grief because his close devotee, his dear devotee passed away. But his mission, the mission that was assigned to him by his guru, that was much more important than his grief, his emotions. That is Adinarayana that you see in the photograph. Okay. So he moved forward. He flew to Colombo and then he continued the programs. Right. So I hope that is clear.
Thank you, Uncle.
Yeah.
I can see one more question in the Zoom chat box, Uncle. It is
Ha,
from Ripendra Ji.
ha,
Uh, any past connections between Mother Parvatama and Sri Swamiji?
ha. Okay. Uh, Bhaiya, there is no specific past birth connection that I know of between Swamiji and uh, Allaka Parvatama Garu. Okay. But I think I mentioned this in the last session. Swamiji told us that Allaka Parvatama was Sati Anasuya, the wife of Atri Maharshi. Okay. Now, there is a story, I think we all know about that. It is a story of Dattatreya, the god who was the incarnation of all the three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Okay. So, Sati Anasuya is considered the mother of Dattatreya. Okay. So, Swamiji told us that Allaka Parvatama in one of her lifetimes was Sati Anasuya. So, that's all I know, Bhaiya. I don't know of any other past connection between the two of them. Okay. Yeah, Navya. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Nothing as of the questions from the devotees, Uncle.
Okay. No,
I would
do any of the others want to ask questions? I mean, I am now in that informal part of the program, right? Where there is a few more minutes. I think about 20 minutes are left. So if anyone wants to ask any question about Swamiji, about Allaka Parvatama Garu or any of his teachings or anything, we can discuss that informally.
I can see Shashank Garu raised his hand. I will
Ah,
unmute to
please,
ask.
please. Yeah.
नमस्कार जगदीश जी।
जी नमस्कार.
I wanted to, I have this uh, thing in my mind that if sometime you can share your views on one particular picture of Swamiji,
हाँ.
where when the photo is taken, he has turned into white light.
Yes. हाँ.
So I was just thinking if you can in next session or something you can spare your time,
Hmm.
specifically to let us know that what is the real essence behind that picture and what is Swamiji wants to convey to us.
Okay.
And like yeah, maybe more on that from your own perspective and your things like that.
No, I mean there is no. I mean I don't have any perspective on that, but I can tell you right now
Yes.
uh, as to what we learned from people in trance. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
Now this photograph was taken by Tom,
Okay.
the devotee from USA who authored Swamiji's books.
Yes. Yes.
As you know, he was in Adivarapeta at that time when Swamiji attained Mahasamadhi.
Yes.
Okay, and he took the photograph, and in that photograph, we see that white light.
Yes.
Okay, and it's not just plain white light. If you
Yes.
observe it closely, you will see concentric rings of light.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
in that picture,
Okay.
and we don't see Swamiji's physical body there.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, we have other photographs where the same devotees are standing behind him. His body is lying in the easy chair,
Yes.
and photos have been taken. And there, everything appears clearly. Only in this particular photograph, we see the light. Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, after, see again, in those days, right? So it was film.
Yes.
So the photograph was shot, then the film had to be processed and it had to be printed.
Yes.
And only then we realized that, the photograph had come like this.
Mm. Mm.
Then that print was brought and we discussed that with a devotee in trance. Okay.
Mm.
So the devotee explained to us that this is what is called Jyoti Swarupa.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. Meaning, see, I mean, what's there in the scriptures, what's written in the scriptures is that in addition to our Bhautika Sharira, meaning the
Yes.
physical body that we
Yes.
can see, feel, and we are living in it now, right? Okay.
Yes.
In addition to that, we have something called a Sukshma Sharira.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Okay. Now, beyond that, there is something called a Karana Sharira.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, beyond that Karana Sharira is what they say, these Jyoti
Jyoti.
Swarupa.
Jyoti. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So, the person in trance, the devotee in trance told us that it was the Jyoti Swarupa of Swamiji that was captured in the photograph.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Okay? And again, let me tell you, that's not the only photograph in which we saw that.
Right.
I mean, at that time, that was the only photograph that showed us the Jyoti Swarupa. But
Yes.
then, after we learned that this is the Jyoti Swarupa, when we looked at other pictures of Swamiji which were taken earlier
Yes.
during his lifetime, okay, we
Yes.
found there are other photographs also in which the same thing has happened. Okay,
Okay.
so initially, uh, people must have thought that it's a problem with the camera or some flash of light or something like that has gone wrong. That is why the picture came like that.
Yes.
But when we inspected those pictures, when we again examined those pictures with this new knowledge of a Jyoti Swarupa, we could find such lights in
Mm.
several of Swamiji's pictures, okay,
Right.
associated with Swamiji. And it also happened in photographs that were taken later on,
Yes.
much later, years after Swamiji's Mahasamadhi. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
So that is the explanation we have for that.
Okay. Okay.
I
Thank you.
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Well,
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I would like to request if anybody have any follow-up questions or any of your questions, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat box so that we'll unmute you.
Hello, Uncle.
Ah,
Yeah, I had a lot of questions about Bharatama and you
who
answered
is this,
almost
please?
all of them. This is Rekha, Bhagya Rekha.
Okay, Bhagireka. Yeah, good.
Uh, you
Tell me,
answered
Ami.
all the questions. Since we are talking about a photograph, I just
Ah,
thought about the green shawl photo that we all love.
yeah,
Swamiji's green shawl photo.
yeah.
I vaguely remember there was a story behind it. If you can put some light on it, like where it was taken and
Okay, sure,
how
sure.
we captured such a beautiful photo, because I think everyone loves that picture.
Okay. See, it so happened this photograph was taken in Sri Lanka. Okay. So Yashodaka was there and she told us when the photograph was taken up, what happened there. Okay. Not only that, that photograph was taken up, was taken by a devotee by the name of Dasappa. Okay. So Dasappa was working for the state government of Karnataka in the information department. I don't know, it's called some information and something else. Okay. So he was working in that department as an officer, but it was his hobby. Photography was his hobby. Okay. And he has taken plenty of photographs of Swamiji, very beautiful, very wonderful photographs of Swamiji. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have all of them with us. So we got only a few of them. Okay. One of them is this green shawl photograph. Okay. Now, the instance when it was taken, it seems uh, they were traveling actually, okay, in Sri Lanka, but from one location to another location. And they had planned a picnic or something like that. And so Swamiji was traveling and all the others were following in another vehicle or something like that. So I don't remember exactly the reason why Swamiji got angry. Something happened there. And so Swamiji, it seems, was very angry and he was shouting at someone at the top of his voice. So he was very angry, it seems. But then this, Dasappa, he is much older than me and probably a little younger than Swamiji. But his attitude towards Swamiji was a little like that of a friend. Okay. He must have had reverence. I'm not saying no. But like Kodandam used to be like a playmate to Swamiji. Okay. Although Swamiji was his guru. So Dasappa had a different kind of an attitude towards Swamiji. Okay. So because of this attitude, it seems he suddenly turned to Swamiji and Swamiji, Swamiji, please turn to me. Please, 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 I want to take a photograph. Okay. So it seems Swamiji, who was so angry and shouting at somebody, suddenly turned his face and faced Dasappa. We don't know whether Swamiji knew that Dasappa was taking a photograph. I mean, ready with his camera or what, we don't know. Okay. But it seems Swamiji gave that smile. And that smile was captured in the photograph. Okay. Now, so when that photograph was enlarged and printed, so many people liked that photograph. Okay. A lot of them bought this photograph and it became the devotees, I mean, one of the devotees' favorite photographs. Okay. I mean, by that time, the technology also had improved. The photographs which are older than that, generally, they used to be black and white. So this is one of the first color photographs that were taken of Swamiji. Okay, so the technology also helped make it a wonderful photograph. But besides that, the way we see Swamiji, Swamiji's style specifically, that is so wonderful in that photograph that it became a favorite for many of the Swamiji's devotees. Okay, so once, I think Yashodaka was also with me. And she asked Swamiji, we both were there with Swamiji, and she asked, Swamiji, how come People like this photograph so much. Of all the photographs that they have of Swamiji, this photograph has become very popular. Why is it so? Why do people like it so much? Then Swamiji revealed a secret. He said, the face that you see in that photograph, that is Lord Krishna's face. Okay? So just like Lord Krishna is dear to so many devotees around the world, okay, so many of his devotees, and we know his character, right? I mean, unlike Lord Sri Rama, Sri Krishna's character was very different. He used to entertain, he used to play. We know that he used to play the flute, he used to play with the gopis, he used to dance and all that. Okay, so that was the attitude of Lord Krishna. So then Swamiji revealed the secret that this face that you see in this photograph, that is of Lord Krishna. Okay? So that is one of the reasons we find it is so pleasant. It gives us so much happiness just to look at that photograph. I hope I have answered your question, Amma.
Yes, Uncle. Thank you.
Oh, welcome.
I would request all, if anybody has any doubts, you can put it in the chat box or raise your hand. So I will be we would be giving access for all of them to unmute. I can see Shashank Garu's hand is still raising.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I just want to share a small experience.
Yeah, please.
I will just take 2 minutes.
Sure,
Uh,
sure.
so actually, I was in Singapore and we were
Hmm.
expecting our second child actually.
Okay.
So in at that time, I was very much praying
What
to
like chesta, Amma?
praying.
yes,
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Shashank.
yeah, praying to Swamiji and worshipping him.
Uh,
So in Singapore, it is quite common that the doctors will reveal the gender.
uh,
Being an Indian, we were not very keen on that they should do it, but anyhow, they do it on certain second, third visit, something like that.
okay.
So one day when we were supposed to go, I was just sleeping. It was around 7 a.m. in the morning,
Hmm.
and I saw Swamiji in my dream.
Oh,
Uh, uh, okay, they want me to start. Okay, you can see me now, right? Okay, so yeah, so 7 a.m. I saw Swamiji in my dream.
uh,
It was quite 7 a.m. So I saw Swamiji wearing white clothes, and
uh,
I saw him from the back,
okay.
and he had a huge jata. I saw his
Uh,
huge jata, and I was wondering that why Swamiji gave me that darshan actually.
okay.
So, and that was also not in the early morning, it was 7 a.m., not something like 4 or 5 a.m.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then that was a dream. And then what happened? Myself and my wife left for the doctor's clinic. And I was carrying this book, actually, this Divine Play book.
Oh,
This
okay.
book I was carrying with me,
Ah,
and it happened that my wife went in the this room, and I
ah,
was sitting outside.
okay.
So with this book, I just randomly, opened, and wanted to see what Swamiji is conveying the message to me. So
Hmm.
if you can see, I have even written 3rd of July 2014. If you can see here,
Okay. Yeah.
you can you can see that this is on page number 93.
Okay.
So I will just read out to you just a little bit extract here.
Yeah.
Swamiji's playful miracles. The great yogi was not only powerful, he was playful and enjoyed practical jokes.
Yeah.
With his matted hair that cascaded down to the back to his knees, and wearing a colorful shawl, he could look like a woman from behind. So, so the dream which I saw, later on, this thing conveyed
I
through this
see.
book, and later on, the doctor said that we are going to have a daughter.
Oh.
So Swamiji conveyed to me before only
Okay,
that
that
it is
you're
a
going to have a daughter.
yeah, you are going to have a daughter.
Oh,
So I even wrote it down, this particular date, and I brought this book now. So
okay.
just to share this experience.
Wonderful,
So
Shashank.
Yeah, so that
So
is
how is
how.
your daughter now?
Yeah, she's good, and
How old
she
is she?
she is now. She was born in 2014, so she is now 11 years.
11 years old. Okay.
Yeah. So these kind of dreams and visions Swamiji gave, and these, like, this is something 11 years back, but still stays in my memory.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just great.
Thanks for sharing the experience,
Yeah,
Shashank.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you so much, thank you.
Uh, uh, I can see one more question from Vijayalakshmi auntie, uncle.
Yeah.
I guess Vijayalakshmi Garu is on the call.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Anna, one
Yeah, Ma.
easy question. Did Swamiji comb his hair himself, or did his mother comb his hair? And what are some other uh, care mother took of Swamiji like any other mother does to her child?
No, Ma, are you talking about
Parvati,
combing combing Satyraju's hair
ah,
before the tapas or after the tapas?
after.
No, no, after tapas, he never allowed anybody to even put a comb in his hair. Okay?
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, he never even allowed people to touch his jata
Hmm.
except when we are giving him his bath. Okay?
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, I can tell you this.
Hmm.
Once my sister, I mean, my younger sister,
Hmm.
she got a comb and then she tried to comb Swamiji's hair. You know, at that time, he didn't have a jata. I am talking about probably 90 or 89 or something like that. He removed the jata in 82, right? So after that, he didn't have the jata. It was just a little bit of hair left on his head. That's all.
Hmm.
Okay. So I don't know why she got the idea. She was quite uh, playful with Swamiji. Okay.
Hmm.
So she brought a comb and then she tried to comb Swamiji's hair. My God, he got so angry at her. He just ruffled all his hair and said, "No, this is how I want to be. I don't want to comb my hair." And all that. Okay, Amma. So he never combed his hair after he sat in tapas.
Why
Not
he
only
doesn't
that,
like his hair touched, or what? What was the reason? Like, can
I
you just?
don't know the reason, Amma. See, all these yogis, they wear the matted hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, it starts off in the tapas and it gets matted in the tapas, and that's all. They just retain it like that. They don't bother about it, but there has to be some.
Some photo was there in which his mother was doing something with his hair. Something was there, is it? I some vaguely remember something was there. That's why I thought maybe his mother was combing his hair. No,
No, I don't remember reading anything like that.
not reading. Some photo was there.
So if you have the photograph, please
Yeah.
point it out. Then I'll try to
Yeah.
see if I know anything about it.
Then what else was Parvatama like as a mother? What else did she do for Swamiji? Like compared to
Ma-
other devotees, like did she treat Swamiji also just like every other devotee, or something special affection she showed for Swamiji?
Okay, she used to cook his food, Amma,
Hmm.
mainly.
Hmm.
Okay, there were other devotees who used to cook the food at their homes and bring to Swamiji. That's what I know, right? And as I explained to you, I mean, I saw Parvatamma. Probably I must have seen her when I was very young, when I went to Adivarapeta. Or I remember once she came to Hyderabad to our house along with other devotees of Swamiji. So I've seen her then. And the other time I saw her is in 69 when I came to Bangalore. That's all. After that, I could not see her. Okay, until 76. So there is no, I mean, I don't know her as intimately as a number of other devotees do. For example, the senior bhajan group,
Mm-hmm.
they all knew her very well.
Okay.
Okay. So they spent a lot of time with her. Venkat Swami spent a lot of time with her. there are other devotees who spent a lot of time with her, not me. I was not in Bangalore when
Okay.
she was alive, right?
Okay.
Yeah. But I know that she used to cook for Swamiji, but
Hmm.
for washing his clothes and others, the other devotees used to help. His
Hmm.
nephews used to help and other devotees used to help.
Hmm.
Okay, so that is one of the basic things that I know, Amma. His
Okay.
food. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And
Okay, Amma. Bye. Amma, that is time up for us. So we need to let people go and do their work, whatever they have to do.
Thank you, Jagadish. That was very interesting.
Thanks, Chandra. I
One.
wanted to spend this session talking about Swamiji's mother, okay, because it is her 50th anniversary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really very good because it's so relevant. Like they say, like Mother Mary is to Jesus Christ.
Sorry?
Bharat, like they say, Mother Mary is to Jesus
Ah,
Christ.
yeah,
Bharatamal is to Shivabalayogi. So even having a picture in front of it allows us to use her as a vehicle to get to the Guru when a Guru doesn't answer our prayers in a way.
that's right.
Thanks for this. You are a wonderful storyteller, I tell you, for all time. Keep it up.
Thanks. Bye.
Balayogi Maharaj ki
Jai.
jai.
Um, we had one question from YouTube, Uncle, as the time was running out. Maybe we will take up in the next session. It's
Ah,
related to Swamiji's mother, Uncle.
okay. No, if it is related to Swamiji's mother, then just go ahead, Amma. We'll spend another minute and close that.
Okay, Uncle. The question is also
Ah,
kindly tell us something which you know through Swamiji about his mother, which
ah.
is not written in books, and you know personally through him.
That's a difficult question, Amma. I need to think about it. I need to recollect if there is anything that Swamiji told me and it's not there in the books. Okay. So I need to recollect that. So let me try. If I can recollect it, I'll tell that. So do you know who asked this question, Amma?
It's again an anonymous user, Uncle.
It's an
There
anonymous
were,
user.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, no, but he will have some email ID or something like that, right?
Uh, the
Yeah.
name is something like Unique Gamer.
Okay, right. Yeah. So just note down that, or I think it will be there in the record, right?
Yes. Yes,
It
Uncle.
will be there in the YouTube comments.
As it is a live chat, I'm probably not sure if we can retain this chat. Let me take a screenshot of this, Uncle.
Okay, Amma. That's better.
Yes, Uncle.
Okay, Amma. Good. Thank you. Yeah. So shall we close the session now?
Yes, Uncle.
Okay, Amma. Thank you very much, Navya, to you as well as to Balu also for all the help. Okay. And thanks to all the devotees of Swamiji who are on the meeting and all those on YouTube also who attended the meeting and patiently listened to me. Thank you very much. Sri 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 Shivabalayogi Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.